Being in a professional environment can be stressful and overwhelming, but it can become even worse when you have to be around these toxic coworkers. Learning how to deal with these difficult individuals is essential for both your sanity and success at work. It can be difficult to confront a toxic coworker, but there are some strategies that can help you maintain your mental health and peace of mind while keeping the situation under control. Hi everybody, it's your host Samantha in Sydney, and we're back with another episode that you don't want to miss on the Deeper Than Tech podcast, where we talk about how to grow your career in an industry that was not designed with us in mind. We'll be diving deep into this topic, but before we do, if you're loving this podcast so far, make sure you share it with a friend or a coworker. So we all have dealt with that one toxic coworker. How do you identify a toxic coworker?
To me, a toxic coworker is someone that is always kind of giving the team or the manager kind of problems, right? They always if we come up with a solution of how we should build something, they're always trying to intersect it. We should do things this way. We should do these this way. And sometimes it's okay to share your opinion, but sometimes there are people on the team that feel like they're smarter than everybody, or they feel like they can do more than everybody. And they try to overly exert themselves. Not just that, late to meetings, or, everybody else wants to have their camera on and they don't want to have their camera on, or we're sharing our personal stories and this person is always trying to make their story sound more evident. And when you run into issues, they're they don't want to help and they're trying to make you figure all of those things to me is it makes a toxic coworker. And me personal, I have dealt with a few of those folks where, not saying that everybody had all of those specific, qualities and aspects of them as a person, but many of them had a few of those different things, right? And me, I'm a positive person all the time. So I've learned how to meet people that are nasty and that have nasty ways. You kill them with your kindness. You kill them with your smiles. You kill them with your your positivity. And it's whenever somebody's on a dark road, or I feel like they throwing shade, or they're trying to throw me under the bus, I very nice, nasty, handle the situation where everybody on the team is looking don't play with her. But at the same time, the individual who set out, to start issues or whatever, they're I don't really know how to address that now, because I expected to, hurt Sydnee's feelings, or I really wanted to get under Sydnee's skin. So the fact that, I didn't allow them to get under my skin, and even if it did, I wasn't going to show them, right? I'm going to wait until I'm off of camera, or until I'm not working, to go in my room and maybe cry, maybe even throw something, maybe even hit the wall, but I've learned to not let people, see you sweat, and not allow people to get under your skin. And this is not just in your work life, this is in your personal life with family and friends as well. A lot of my advice, it goes, for the masses, for your everyday, because I set my, clear expectations of how I want people to treat me and how I want relationships to be held. I hold those expectations in my personal life and in my work life. So to me, I'm not going to let nobody disrespect me, on the street. So why would I let somebody at my job disrespect me? Even though somebody on the street might get a different response than somebody at my job would. But at the end of the day, the person at my job, I'm for sure going to kill them with kindness.
Yes. Recently, I had somebody say, please hold me back because I don't want to lose my job today. So I feel you on that. I also love that you said killing with positivity. In a previous episode, we talked about microaggressions and how to deal with those. And one of the things I loved was we talked about how making sure you embarrass the other person. Like, yes, it hurts you, but like making sure that they are like feel stupid. Like, why did you say that? So, would you like to give us an example of like how you respond with positivity when somebody's like, "Hey, Sydney, that was a stupid idea." How would you respond to that?
I would pretty much smile and say, I would honestly, I want to know. So my response would be, hey, such and such. I know you may feel like, my idea is stupid or, not educated enough. How would you address it? Or, what is your response to it? How would you, tackle this issue? And then from there, hopefully they would give their perspective, unless they're really being nice nasty, right? And or they're being nasty nasty, not nice nasty, right? And until they're like, okay, I don't want to, answer. Like, the question was for you and I wanted to just tell you that you're being stupid. I would laugh, honestly. I would laugh. And, I would just say, like, I don't I don't appreciate, the way that you are coming at me, and the way you're speaking to me. I would appreciate it if either you would change your tone or come at me a different way, because I know I'm not stupid. How would you feel if I called your idea stupid, or if I said, you were stupid, and kind of get them on their toes, and now they're thinking, and at the same time smiling the whole entire time.
You're Michelle Obama at this point. You're doing great. Say somebody is not very comfortable speaking out loud. How can they address this issue before it gets even bigger?
So someone that isn't really comfortable like speaking up for themselves or speaking out loud, I would say to I would say everyone at their job or whatever field they're in, everyone needs a buddy, right? And not just like a buddy that you can work with, but everybody needs somebody that can vouch for them, and can have their back, And my current job right now, the last project that I was on, I got me a buddy, right? I built a relationship with one of the other engineers on the team. Once I seen like the culture of the team, and I'm seeing that, okay, me and this guy, we kind of have some things in common. Let me try to build that one-on-one relationship with him. That way, like, if there is any like misconceptions or anything that went on, any altercations, I would have somebody to vouch for me, because, certain situations, sometimes we feel like we can speak up to some individuals, but everybody we don't feel like we can speak up to. So there's always like two things that I would do, right? If I don't feel comfortable talking to you as a person and coming to you face to face, I would do two things. I would first, either reach out to my buddy, and try to see if my buddy has any type of like advice or anybody else that in their circle that they can reach out to, so we can kind of address this issue. And I usually try that first. And if that doesn't work, then I'll try to like, now here comes the writing. Remember, I think in the last episode, I talked about, when and when not is a great time to write things down. And in a situation like that, to me, that would be a time where you will write things down. If you have somebody on your team that's being nasty to you, and trying to shut you down, telling you your ideas are stupid, which should never be okay, right? Like, even if you are a junior on the team and you don't really know a lot, like you're a new boot camp grad, no one should ever be calling you stupid, because they could be stupid in other ways, right? Like, everybody's knowledge is not spread out in the same way. So after you either try to reach out to your buddy and that doesn't work, this is when that piece of writing, your statement comes into play. And from there, that statement, can either go to your manager, either a team lead on a team. And if it doesn't work that way, next is HR. We don't want to have to go to HR if we don't, have to. But if you tried all of these things, like, you tried to speak up, you tried to go to your buddy, and now you wrote something and went to your manager and still nothing's happening, that's when you need to escalate it to HR.
I love that. You can also, even if you don't feel comfortable talking to people, still like write down everything and email it to yourself, so you have that timestamp. So that way, if something does happen and it continues on, you still have that proof. Yeah. Because like, I think in the law, you can't go based off memory. It's like not evidence. So like having something written down is evidence, I guess you can say. So hopefully we never get there, but just in case. So let's say now you have escalated this to your manager. Is it all on your manager to figure out the situation, or do you have to kind of help solve the issue?
Yeah, so usually, like, if there is an issue that I do bring to the higher up attention, like a manager or team leader or something, I usually always try to come with my own kind of solutions, right? Like, I try to give my manager or the leader the benefit of the doubt to try to see how they would address this issue first, and how they would tackle it. And then I would share, my ways of how I would tackle it. And then we can kind of compromise on what we think, should happen. I think that because, like, if you're involved in that issue, I feel like you should be involved in the solution process, right? Like, if something involved you, like, how could your manager try to just come up with their own personal solution that might not, accommodate you efficiently? So I feel like that you need to be a part of those processes, in the decision making. Like, okay, if are we going to host a team meeting, where we talk about the different microaggressions at work, where we talk about people verbally abusing folks. Are we going to make this a team meeting? Are we going to make this a company-wide meeting? Are we going to go pull that individual out and set up a one-on-one with the manager, me, and this individual? Like, are we like it's just so many things that can go into play. But I feel like you need to just make sure you're a part of that process as much as you can be.
And let's say next step, you have the solutions, your manager cannot figure out what's wrong, but you're still on this team. How do you protect your mental health?
So honestly, the best way to do, I actually experienced a little situation, like that, where it wasn't like the people on the team, but it was actually like certain things that I was feeling about my manager, right? And when it was my manager, I didn't know who to reach out to besides my buddy, right? Because my buddy, which is the other person that I've built the relationship with, they can vouch for me. They had a closer relationship with our manager, so they were able to speak out to our manager and all of those things like that. But the main thing is like, after we try to fix these things, and they may be working, they may be slowly working, but your mental health is so important. And it's like, if your mental health is not together, like, you won't be able to log in on that computer. You won't be able to show up to meetings. You won't be able to have your camera on. So the best thing for you is to try to like figure out something outside of work that is making you happy, right? Figure out maybe something that you can either have some type of motivational poster or some type of like little stuffed animal, or like maybe even you're taking a little bit more breaks than you usually do, right? Like maybe after each meeting, you go and take a 5-minute walk or go have some coffee, or, maybe on your lunchtime, you take, instead of, taking the full hour lunch, you'll do 30 minutes to eat, the other 30 minutes to go relax and do some yoga or some meditation. But you have to really be invested in your mental health. And if you're not these aggressive managers or, aggressive coworkers, they will definitely take advantage of you. And if they feel like that they're winning, like if they feel like that they can tell that they're getting you upset, they feel like that they're almost this close to pushing you out and getting you out, like you have to be able to stand your ground and be able to still be happy and still want to be there.
I love that. Thank you so much, Sydnee, for coming onto the show. Until next time, y'all. Bye.